Hi there, this is Ryan Blair, and this message is personal. It's a plea from me to you. It's about making a choice. I'm talking about a choice which will have profound consequences on your life, on your career, your family, and everything that you hold dear. This message is about action and urgency. It's about change and courage. It's about overcoming a multi-generational conspiracy that's designed to encourage conformity and to discourage original thought. It's about accepting the hard realities that we're dealing with in the world right now, and, most importantly, it's about taking your destiny into your two very capable hands. We'll begin with a disclaimer, and that is that this message is meant to be hyper-aggressive, confrontational, and absolutely combative. I make no apology for that. You may ask why. Well, because the battle between good and evil exists, and we ourselves are in the midst of this battle right now. More importantly, this is a battle that we can, that we will, and we must win. And what follows is how we turn the tables on these bastards and reclaim our freedom. So what comes to mind when you hear the words, make yourself hard to kill? Well, if you're like most people, at best, it's a military strategy. And at worst, it's about surviving some form of violent criminal attack. But that's not what's motivating me to sit down, to put the time in, and to share a few insights that could literally save your life, your savings, and your future. So here's the rub. See, life is sport, and all sport is an ongoing, relentless battle between offensive and defensive strategy. Offensive strategy exists to advance your position, to score goals, to put points on the board, and most importantly, to win. Then there's defensive strategy, as that exists to hold ground and to prevent the offense or the opposition from scoring. And if you look closely, you'll quickly see that both offensive and defensive strategy share a similar strand of DNA. You see, each one is designed to do the following. It's to neutralize their opponent's strength. It's to locate flaws, weaknesses, and vulnerabilities. It's to destabilize and debilitate confidence. It's to interfere with focus and concentration, to create and plant seeds of doubt, to cut off or reduce competitive options, also to force or intentionally create a mistake, to disrupt any form of forward momentum, and to break the opposition's will. In short, both offensive and defensive strategy is meant to impede the successful execution of their opponent's strategy. So you might be wondering, what does this have to do with making yourself hard to kill? Well, let me explain that one. You see, whether you prefer to use the words crush, rob, steal, terminate, or even eliminate, all around you, people, government, media, and various public and private institutions are out to kill you in one way or another. Actors, singers, producers, directors, and numerous parties involved in the entertainment business are creating, they're promoting, and they are distributing vulgar content that is all designed to kill your child's innocence. Advanced technologies like ChatGPT, while helpful in many ways, are also on a fast track to kill careers, companies, and entire industries, and many will be white-collar. Big tech continues to create products, services, and resources that harvest your data and kill any sense of privacy. Food, shampoo, makeup, and suntan manufacturers are lacing their products with dangerous chemicals that are all designed to dumb you down, to poison, and to ultimately kill you, slowly, painfully, and expensively. Award shows like the Grammys, the Super Bowl halftime performances, and clothing designers like Balenciaga are doing the job of their dark masters. They do that by elevating Satan and normalizing pedophilia while attempting to kill your belief in God. Now, don't be delusional. The goal here is not to wound, and it is certainly not to disable. The goal is to kill you, as in kill your ambition, kill your confidence, kill your savings, kill your intellect, kill your morality, and just flat out kill you. You must wake up, as you cannot afford to sleepwalk and remain apathetic to the many creative, emotionless, numbing, and diabolical ways that one coup de grace after another is being administered against you. Open borders and the influx of illicit drugs like fentanyl are intentionally designed to destabilize and kill a country's national security and their sovereignty. Higher taxes in the form of recession, regulations, and other form of manipulation provide governments with a license to kill small businesses, to kill their dreams, and to kill the entrepreneurial spirit. The Common Core curriculum, adopted and created by politicians, corporate executives, and educational bureaucrats, have borne rotten fruit by killing critical thinking, intellectual curiosity, and doing little to prepare students for the future. All you have to do is compare the scores in math, science, and reading for the US to other countries to see how far the bar has been lowered, and lowered intentionally. So, how do you make yourself hard to kill? Let's get after that. It was General George S. Patton who has been quoted as saying, "Wars are not won by defensive tactics." And I agree with the man they call Old Blood and Guts. You see, Patton's military strategy centered on aggressive, energetic advancement, a focus on ceaseless drive, a belief that there would be time to rest when the war was over. Now, make no mistake about it, war has been declared upon us, and reclaiming our freedoms will not be won passively, but they will be achieved through these 7 acts of courage, so let's get after it. Step number 1 is to refuse to die. See, the fact is, stronger, smarter, durable, and self-reliant people are harder to kill. It's as simple as that. And those with the character and the determination to triumph in the end have the utmost contempt for death. They refuse to die, they refuse to quit or surrender to acts of intimidation, fear, or threats. Refusing to die is a commitment that stands in the face of obstacles, hardships, temptations, financial difficulties, failing physical health, and any type of suffering. And by refusing to die, you're demonstrating no abatement of severity, intensity, strength, or pace, nor are you softening or yielding in determination. It was worth noting, winners don't surrender, they don't complain, and they don't make excuses. That's what losers do. Winning belongs neither to the faint-hearted nor to the weak-willed or the uncommitted. Certainly not if the enemy is great and his resolution is strong. It's only by facing the opponent head-on and with a vengeance can the battle be won. And the rewards for those who are unyielding in their pursuit of freedom far exceed the pain that must precede the victory. You see, quitting is a character flaw, and it's a path of least courage. As there'll be times during this battle against tyranny when a voice within you seems to shout out, "I doubt if I can continue. Why don't I just quit and go back to safer ground? I don't know if winning is even possible. Who am I kidding? Why not? Why not just throw in the towel?" See, whenever this happens, you've got to dismiss your doubts. You got to roll up your sleeves. You got to decide to fight like your life and your freedom depends upon it. Because guess what? It does. In fact, refusing to die and choosing to fight for what you want is the solution to every problem you face, as well as the gateway to every success that you'll experience during your lifetime. That brings us to strategy number 2, which is don't drink the Kool-Aid. From the moment you were born, you are unwittingly in the process of being indoctrinated into a multi-generational conspiracy that's designed to encourage conformity and to discourage original thought. You are being taught, manipulated, and controlled by sick people who have been able to accommodate themselves to a regimen of thought and behavior that's laid down by their rotten-to-the-core predecessors. It's a self-perpetuating system, and it's one that you must resist, or the consequences of everything that you hold dear in your life are utterly devastating. You see, almost every institution you've ever encountered is self-serving and has conformance, manipulation, mediocrity, and control baked into their core. I'm talking about from education and entertainment, for the food you eat to the music you listen to, for the clothes you wear to the car you drive, for the books you read to the news you watch, and from politics to religion as well. They are all running a scam, and they intentionally work to get you to drink their flavor of Kool-Aid. They actively, strategically, and aggressively create schemes to discourage and kill original thought, uniqueness, individuality, and of course, self-reliance. See, in my opinion, the greatest plague of mankind is the fear and the rejection of truth. It's the belief there's only one right way, a centralized way to live, only one way to learn, and only one way to regulate religious, political, sexual, financial, and medical affairs. That belief is the rotten fruit of conformance, and it's the root cause of the greatest threat to mankind. But just think about this. If the entire world could be convinced that wearing masks, that closing businesses, shuttering schools, and working from home is the right thing to do, then why not close down junk food producers? Why not shut down porn operators? And why not put the kibosh on tobacco growers and vape manufacturers? Why can't this type of psychology or psyop be used to get people to eat vegetables, to exercise, to read the classics, practice good etiquette, and of course, to demonstrate integrity? The fact is you're being brainwashed, you're being lied to, you're being censored, and you're allowing yourself to be manipulated. And you need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid and wake up before it's too late. Now that brings us to strategy number 3, which is to become self-reliant. With each passing day, we're becoming a nation of people desperate for the government, a piece of technology, or some outside party to fix our problems and make our pain or inconvenience go away. We've become a society of soft, wimpy, fearful, politically correct, entitlement-driven, hypersensitive, immature, and convenience-addicted weenies. How the hell did this happen? Well, the answer, like many others, can be found in our government and in the home. You see, many programs throughout the world have been set up by individuals and institutions to control, to confuse, manipulate, and to kill the ambition of the very people they are meant to help, serve, and uplift. And as a result of giving people free money, free healthcare, and free housing, the beneficiaries of these handouts more than often become dependent upon them, and rather than inspiring self-reliance, they accomplish just the opposite. And to bottom line this point, unnecessary dependence upon others, and that being the government in this case is what I'm referring to, provides a false sense of security that only serves to make you weak and highly vulnerable, which of course was the intended goal. It's the ultimate act of self-betrayal, and in quick order, it destroys lives, families, communities, and even countries. That is why we must individually and collectively focus our efforts on becoming self-reliant, on creating value, and on driving results that matter. See, the pursuit of your own hopes, dreams, goals, and happiness, those are the only things which you are entitled to. Nobody owes you anything. I'm talking zip, zero, nada, ungats. And I say this not because I'm a Republican or Democrat, a Jew or a Christian. I'm saying this because you're an adult and you've got to do your own push-ups. So let's get over to strategy number 4, which is to grow a pair. See, there are knowns, unknowns, and things about COVID and all the lies, the deceit, and the shenanigans that revolve around it, which we haven't a damn clue and might not ever find out about. But there's one thing which upon reflection that I'm 100% certain of, and it's this. Given the choice of 2 alternatives, most people will choose cowardice over courage, and it's a damn shame. Now, what makes me so sure? Well, 3 magical words. Behavior never lies. You see, the real essence of truth of who a person, a team, or a political party really is not going to be found in what they say, but by what they actually do. In other words, what you do is who you are. So how did we get here? And are we going to repeat history? Are we going to perpetuate pain? And are we going to pass the point of no return? Well, there are a lot of factors that are relevant to this answer, and they include blackmail, intimidation, institutional rot, the technology revolution, and the monopolies it created. Add in the arrogance of our elites, poverty, data manipulation, propaganda, fear, and the death of trust, and you've got yourself one heck of a perfect storm. All these issues must be examined because each one has played a role to get us where we are today. But there is one behavior that's deserving of our complete focus, one constant action that every moment of radical victory, conformity, and compliance turns on, and that behavior is cowardice. See, the woke revolution has been extraordinarily effective in creating a climate and a culture of fear and cowardly behavior. It has successfully captured and controlled the most important institutions in America and throughout the world, to include our schools, newspapers, social media, mainstream news, Hollywood studios, sports, tech companies, political parties, and the biggest one of all, corporate America. The woke revolution has been met with little to no resistance by those who have the title of CEO, superintendent, dean, doctor, leader, prime minister, or even president in front of their names. And the refusal of people in leadership positions to confront and speak the truth, their lack of backbone to draw a line in the sand and say no to the efforts to undermine the mission of their institutions, their fear of losing a paycheck or being called some kind of a naughty name, and that fear trumping their responsibility. That is how we got here. So now the question must be, how do we get out of this mess? Well, if cowardice is the key behavior that got us here, then the only way out, and I emphasize, the only way out is through acts of courage and non-compliance. So allow me to point the way. See, playwright George Bernard Shaw was asked on his deathbed, what would you do? What would you do if you could live your life over again? And he replied after a long pause, I wish I could become the person I know that I was meant to be. You see, it's my belief that many people look back upon this moment in time and wished that they had acted with greater courage. That's why I suggest to you right now, in the strongest language possible, that it's never too late for you to act courageously and to become the person you always wanted and needed to be. However, absent of your ability to be courageous, to not stand up and defend principles, to refrain from doing the right thing at the right time, then it's game over, because the change that you want will never come to be. So let's focus on strategy number 5 on our 7-point plan, and that is to be your own hero. So why is becoming your own hero so important? What's the urgency? How does it make you hard to kill? Well, the system we've grown up is an absolute mess. It's falling apart at the seams, and far too many people are in pain and disillusioned because of the things that they thought would work, won't. See, the world is changing and the stakes are higher than ever. We're facing full-fledged revolutions and attacks on multiple fronts, and there is absolutely no end in sight. Nothing is sacred, as all rules are being rewritten. That means that no country or currency, no industry or profession, and certainly no company or individual is safe. We're all vulnerable. We're all in the crosshairs, and no one has your back. See, hyper-competitiveness, relentless and ongoing challenges, disruptive technologies, and mass consolidation is all occurring at warp speed, and it's only going to accelerate. That tells us this, that the opportunity of a lifetime has arrived, that it's time for you to be your own hero. So let's face it, no one's going to come to your house and make your dreams come true, to make your pain go away or to put food on your table. No one in this world is responsible for us apart from ourselves, for our happiness, for our sadness, for our boredom, for our anger, for our fear. There's not one person in this world who's responsible for making our lives better, easier, more digestible, or for that matter, to save us. You see, the most important thing in this life is how well we live with ourselves, what we say to ourselves, the standards we set for ourselves, how much we believe in ourselves, how much we willingly push and challenge ourselves, how much of a friendship do we have with ourselves, how much do we demand of ourselves. That's why you want to feel strong even if you're not. You want to feel courageous even if you're not. You want to feel like you can take over the world even if you can't. Feel happy and okay with yourself. Forgive yourself, be kind to yourself, accept yourself, gaze into yourself. Most importantly, love yourself and choose to be your own hero. That brings us to strategy number 6, which is to protect and to defend your freedom. See, throughout history, people have fought, suffered for, and some have even paid the ultimate price for causes in which they believe. I'm talking about the emancipation of slavery, voting, women's rights, apartheid, democracy, free speech, the right to bear arms, education, workers' rights, prison reform, economic inequality, animal rights, healthcare, religious freedom, and even the right to die, to name just a few. And it can be argued that one simple idea, that being the concept of freedom, which is now under full-time attack, has been the driving force of civilization and may very well be the most influential intellectual force the world has ever known. Now, like most everything in life, freedom is a choice, and with choice comes responsibility, and I'm talking about the responsibility to protect and to defend it at all costs. You see, we were all born into a culture that took generations to create, and the people who came before us secured many of the freedoms that you and I enjoy at the cost of great suffering and sacrifice. And that's why I love these words from Ronald Reagan. He said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction, and we didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them in order to do the same. Or one day, we'll spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States when men were free." And finally, strategy number 7 is to get right with God. Faith is a private matter that's built in solitude from the feelings, the acts, and the experiences of individual people, striving to establish a relationship with that which they consider divine. But conversations on such a vitally important subject should not be put on the back burner, especially now. You see, discussions must take place, and if not in public, then they must be done in private and certainly with ourselves. You see, eventually, everyone must ask themselves, what do I think of God? And lip service is not the kind of service that God expects from each one of us. The very definition of faith requires a personal relationship with God. We should not fail in a responsibility to share God's love and teachings. You've got to do something every day to strengthen and reinforce and energize your faith, as too many souls are in hibernation. And understanding that everything counts wakes the sleepy soul. Faith is a living, bold trust in God's grace, and it's impossible to please God without faith and trust in Him. Prayer is the care and feeding of our soul, and the effects of prayer and a living sense of commerce with a higher power are enormous. As the testimony of millions, both past and present, is too strong and pervasive to be poo-pooed away. See, the impressions and the excitement that we receive through prayer, well, they help us to live and give invincible assurance of a world beyond the senses. Prayer melts hearts and communicates significance and value to everything. That's why you must vow to live gracefully and peacefully, because the alternative leaves much to be desired. So live your life with consummate grace and saturate it with faith, with peace, and with love. There are living and dead souls, and the only bridge to a full life is faith. And the good news, and I mean the very good news, is that it's never too early or too late to cross that bridge and to resuscitate the soul. It takes a lot of energy to avoid God, and without a personal relationship with God, life is limited to impersonal and abstract concepts. And as ideals, they may be of interest and encourage you, but they do so faintly compared to the power that's affected through a genuine relationship with God. Now that you have an understanding of all seven strategies to make yourself hard to kill, perhaps this might be a great time to bring this thing in for a landing. So let me provide you with a few closing thoughts. That is, the battle between good and evil exists, and we ourselves are in the midst of this battle. And once you wake up and realize that we are the carbon that they want to eliminate, well, then everything else makes a lot of sense. You see, making yourself hard to kill does not end with the 7 steps that I just outlined. You must get physically fit, and I'm talking in the best shape of your life. You've got to get strong and hard. You've got to be mentally as tough as a $2 steak. You must control your environment with an iron fist. You must continuously upgrade your knowledge and your capabilities. You must accept reality as it is, not as you'd like it to be, and most importantly, you cannot allow yourself to fall victim to apathy. Now, why? Why would I even say that? Well, because the path to the graveyard is paved with indifference, and these bastards are doing everything they can to kill any sense of hope for a better future. See, this is your fight to win, and armed with these 7 strategies, it's a fight that you can, will, and you must win.